Hi, I'm Diva Scholl, and today I'm going to be discussing data mining to improve donor retention with a focus on the North Texas Area United Way. First, I'll go over the background of the problem and the industry insight and talk a little bit more then about the North Texas Area United Way. I'll then propose an IT solution to help meet that need, and then we'll discuss the feasibility analysis and project execution, followed by managing technology, and go over the constraints and considerations, and then we'll finish up. As the former director of the North Texas Area United Way, I understand firsthand the challenges that nonprofits are facing with donor retention and new donor recruitment. Nonprofits are challenged more and more today because over the last 10 years, the number of nonprofits has grown tremendously by over 10%. So there's more nonprofits out in the community asking for money, and nonprofits are plagued with other challenges such as limited resources, lack of funding, lack of personnel, and even maybe people who are passionate about a cause but are not necessarily business oriented. Organizations such as nonprofits really need to be governed through business practices and treated as a business instead of just a nonprofit organization. The Association of Fundraising Professionals actually started a project several years back called the Fundraising Effectiveness Survey, and they create a report every year to talk about the new trends in fundraising. And donor retention is a major concern for nonprofits. For every 100 new donors attained by nonprofits, there was an offset or a loss of 102 donors. And only 43% of donors who gave in 2012 continued to give in 2013. Another startling statistic is that for every $100 in donations from new donors, nonprofits were losing $92 through donor attrition. So with coupling the limited financial resources, inadequate software and support, and a quickly changing, highly competitive nonprofit climate, organizations are forced to consider new methodologies for fundraising. I want to share a little bit with you about the history of the North Texas Area United Way. They've been in existence for over 90 years, serving the local community and the North Texas community by being sort of a one-stop shop. Basically what they would do is do all the fundraising on behalf of other nonprofits so that individuals and businesses only had one campaign or one ask for funds. And for years they've been able to successfully fund most of the nonprofits. However, as I mentioned before, the number of nonprofits has grown and it's become harder and harder to stretch those dollars. So now nonprofits are doing their own fundraising. There are more campaigns, and the community sees more and more people coming out asking for their support. 2008-2009 saw a big shift for United Way. They changed their mission and their model, and when they did that, their message was kind of lost with a lot of the donors, and they started seeing a steady decline in campaign dollars ever since. So that's become a major issue and a major problem for the North Texas Area United Way, coupled with the fact that it is led by a board of volunteers who work with the CEO to try and determine the mission. So you have changing leadership, you have different programs and software services that have been introduced at various times. For example, Donation Tracker was introduced probably 8 or 9 years ago and hasn't been updated regularly. And then you've had the website developed on a separate platform several years back. And then you've added social media platforms at different times. So all of these things are not consistent, and it leads to a lot of donor confusion. I believe that the North Texas Area United Way would benefit from implementing data mining and CRM applications. Data mining is referring to specialized software that analyzes data in order to identify trends, patterns, and relationships. Companies are using data mining more and more because it really helps to find correlations or to better understand relationships among data. So then they can build models that help them to either become more efficient in their practices or better market to their clients, and ultimately lead to better satisfaction amongst their customers and improved retention, which then of course leads to hopefully increased revenues. CRM systems are used to manage all the various touch points with clients. And the visual that I have here shows you what I'm referring to. It takes the data points from all the different interactions that a company has with a customer, such as sales data, service data, marketing data, and then the software helps to gather insights and determine customers' behaviors, their wants, their needs, basically what is driving their decision making. And then you create predictive models. Companies are using those models to improve their strategy development and execution, hopefully overall improving retention and income for the company. This specific program that I would recommend the North Texas Area United Way adopting is called Blackbaud. In my experience and talking with other experts in this field, Blackbaud has been the leading provider of CRM technologies for over 30 years. And there's a variety of different packages that nonprofits use. You could use Blackbaud CRM, Razor's Edge, Luminate, eTapestry, etc. They really promote donor retention by building lifelong relationships, and they even say that they can help double gifts from donors in comparison with a typical industry average gift. What I like most about Blackbaud is that they serve as a full service provider, and really they provide comprehensive solutions for the entire needs of a nonprofit. It's going to help integrate all of the various touch points through making sure that the website is integrated, social media platforms are integrated, and even the accounting platforms are integrated. So it really helps to promote timely communication and offer predictive models for nonprofits in their strategic planning. There are two programs in particular that I believe would be well suited for NTAUW. Razor's Edge NXT and Financial Edge NXT. They're both solutions that integrate well. They're cloud-based solutions, and from the website I found that they offer built-in analytics, payment processing, marketing outreach, and it's all available for the end user on a mobile device or through, I guess the use of an iPad, that sort of thing. So really you're going to find many, many benefits for the fundraising personnel and even for management at the United Way. You're going to have increased flexibility, you're going to have real-time data delivery, and it'll really help aid in the efficiency of those staff. The process of converting to Razor's Edge and Financial Edge will be timely and costly, but I think the rewards will be worth the outlay. Right now, United Way is using two separate systems to track donor info and payments. For example, if a donation is received, the information is entered into the donation tracker software by the campaign director. Then the same information is re-entered into QuickBooks by accounting personnel. So the use of this program, this CRM software, will eliminate all of that double data entry, and it will also help eliminate errors when you have duplication of data entry. This will allow United Way, of course, to focus their personnel time on activities that will help promote donor development. United Way currently has one full-time employee for fundraising and donor development, so any improvements in efficiency will be worthwhile. By having the ability to identify trends and better communicate with donors, you're going to see larger gifts, you're going to see lifelong givers. Razor's Edge will allow you to custom tailor communication plans and methodologies to the individual user. For example, if you find that a donor is clicking through an email, then you know that they prefer email communication, and you can set that up to where that donor is only communicated with that way. If you find that a predictive model says that donors who live in a certain zip code and have a certain salary tend to give a certain dollar amount, then you know that that's a good donor to target for that type of a gift. So it really will offer lots of benefits for the North Texas Area United Way. There are three functional areas that will be involved with the implementation of the CRM and data mining process. First, of course, is the fundraising personnel. They'll be involved with making sure that the correct data is being collected in all of the various touch points with the customer. Of course, then you also have to have marketing involved. Marketing needs to make sure that all materials, all media, social media platforms, internet, everything is comprehensive, and fully integrated with the CRM technology. And of course, lastly, then you have to make sure that the financial personnel are involved with making sure their program interacts in a good way with the fundraising package. Technically speaking, the feasibility of adopting these programs should be relatively simple because they're offered as software as a service through the cloud. So the main thing is making sure you have the most recent web browsers on your workstations, and also making sure that there's adequate Wi-Fi and broadband, since these are internet-based products. When you talk about financial feasibility, these programs are offered through a monthly subscription service, which really helps reduce the initial capital outlay. It offers you the flexibility of paying month to month. Also, the subscription offers unlimited users, tech support, and regular updates with automatic or automated backups and security, which currently those services are being outsourced right now at United Way, so that would be a cost savings. Operationally, that's probably the biggest barrier to the adoption of this technology. It's end user resistance. It's going to take an entire mindset change for the organization. It'll be a cultural shift and a cultural change, not only for the board, but really probably for management and the rest of the employees at United Way. When you talk about project execution, there are several things that need to be taken into consideration. The first and foremost is that they need to make sure that they have a good business strategy. They need to have short-term and long-term goals, because trying to throw this program into place without having any goals and any idea of what they're trying to measure will not be helpful whatsoever. The other thing is making sure that they're collecting the right kinds of data across all facets of communication with the donors. So if you have better data, then you're going to have better communication with your donors. And then you should have an initial focus just on retaining customers, because it is quite a bit less expensive to keep your current donors than it is to try to attract a new donor. With any new IT project, it's important to create an oversight committee. They're going to be responsible for reviewing the strategic plan, the KPIs, assessing the actual implementation and performance of the CRM, compliance, continuous improvement, and so forth. There's several things that they can help develop as well, several policies. For example, standard data entry practices should be developed. It's important to make sure that you have consistent data, and also it should be important to do regular training, so establish a schedule for that. And lastly, because the software is accessible on mobile devices, it's going to be important to develop guidelines for employee use of personal devices, or a bring your own device policy. When we look to the future and some of the constraints that we might have with trying to implement this program, you're going to look at the major one as being the expense of acquiring the CRM software. They're not currently paying for they're not paying a lot for software support right now because it's an older program. So implementing and training and all of those things are going to be a financial burden, but I believe that they could apply for a technology grant and receive that pretty easily. The other thing that they could look at would be the future cost will be offset by increased campaign revenues. In the future, they need to be considering the open data sourcing and data sharing that's on the rise, and so that's something that they may be able to access data from other sources in the future too, or share data as well. And then lastly, each partner agency has access to their own data for donors, and so I think it would be a great idea to try to tap into those records so that they could integrate that and try to improve even more ways upon which they can communicate with their existing donor base and improve and turn them into lifelong donors. So in summary, although the landscape of the fundraising has been certainly much more competitive and changing all the time, I do believe that it's going to be easy for United Way to get a leg up by adopting this technology. There's no one else in the community fully utilizing a CRM and data mining package. So I really believe this will help put them at the forefront of fundraising in the community. It'll help them become more efficient, and it will certainly improve their donor retention and, of course, lead to an improved campaign. Thank you so much for your time.